click the link to support the channel or for the other various platforms and to join the Discord so we can keep in touch. This guy points out, if Jussie Smollett had a sister, well, Jussie Smollett does have a sister. She's in Birds of Prey. Why wouldn't you change your name? This guy points out a important issue about hoaxes. Like Bigfoot is a hoax. Crop circles are a hoax. This is an actual hate crime. Just because it's coming from a black person doesn't mean it's not a hate crime. And I've seen the Gateway Pundit do this before, and I think I made a comment on it before. These aren't hoaxes. These are hate crimes, but they're anti-white hate crimes. And these MAGA normies don't seem able to wrap their minds around that. Because, listen, these are normie websites. Like, yeah, they're mildly right of center, but they're not our guys. They're still on the side of the big lie, if you know what I'm saying. They're not the real. There are some real new websites out there, but stuff like Gateway Pundit is still on the side of, the Israeli First Ben Shapiro type of controlled ops type of stuff. That doesn't mean that they're not doing good stuff, but they can be careful to say things like, yeah, this isn't a hoax. This is anti-white hatred. Why don't you just come out and say that? So in no way, shape, or form is this a hoax. This is a woman, she's 30-year-old, charged 8 counts of making terrorist threats. That's not a hoax. She was charged with those counts of terrorist threats. You need to revamp your language here. She allegedly made the threats. She's going to be charged, and she'll probably be let off because we live in a fucking clown world run by jokers. But if in fact, she did make those terrorist threats, threatening grievous bodily injury or arson, well, that's not a hoax. If she made those threats, she made those threats. Don't stop making excuses for her just because she's black and you're uncomfortable. So for nearly a year, allegedly, due process is there for a reason, Tarisha Lucas left threatening, racially charged. Well, here's the thing. It's like getting doorbell cameras. Those things are like $100 or less. I have the full cameras around the house. It was like less than $1,000 for half a dozen cameras and a hard drive system. You can like the cheap way is these little doorbell cameras, which is like really all you need is a wide angle camera. And the trick to mounting cameras is that people don't understand. You want to mount the front door cameras as low as you can because you want the camera looking up at people. So in case they're wearing hats and hiding their faces. An upshot is a little bit better. So you want to mount the camera a little bit lower than you ordinarily would. Otherwise, you're just getting these overhead shots. So if someone's doing this in your neighborhood, you can mount some hidden cameras and you're going to be able to pick them up. Porch pirates and that kind of stuff really quickly. Porch pirate, there's a whole video thing on YouTube about watching porch pirates. What a scummy way to add to a low trust society. Anyway, so allegedly she was leaving these threatening she's of course an African woman, racially charged notes in black people's mailboxes. So this is a black woman pretending to be a red-haired member of the Kathleen Kennedy Club. I don't even know what state this is in, but believe it or not, the Kathleen Kennedy Club, there's not a whole lot of people. Long red beard for some reason, so she's a pirate. There's not a whole lot of people in that club, and they're not very politically active. I don't know what they do these days. They're not really doing anything other than, I guess, sitting around smoking a joint, drinking beer, which is their constitutionally protected right to do so. You can be a member of any group you want as long as you're not conspiring to commit illegal activities, which these Euro-tribal, I guess vaguely identitarian groups are not doing that. Otherwise, the FBI would be all over them. The FBI is frustrated because they're not conspiring. Whenever there's one of these people gets busted for something, it's like, oh, you've got a group with a few people in it, and so you had 3 FBI agents who managed to convince some low IQ guy who's legitimately cognitively impaired to try to you spend a year trying to convince these people to do a terror, and they wouldn't do it. So by the time they go to the Capitol building, it's you arrest them for trespassing. It's literally the only charge. Oh, well, what about that insurrection? What about conspiracy to commit terrorist acts? No, they actually didn't do anything. We tried to get them to make a demolition device, and they refused. So wasted a year. The thing is, the FBI goes in these clubs, and they're hoping to they can't. They don't have the manpower to go to all these clubs and waste years getting in and building things. So it's they've got to push things as fast as possible. It's all they need is an arrest. If they can find people who are dumb and convince them to make devices, they will do that. It's none of it's organic. It's ethically and morally it's entrapment, but legally proven entrapment. You can just just about forget about that. That's almost impossible to do. The FBI is evil. They're not a nation. They're not protecting the nation's interests anymore. They're controlled by the most evil people on earth. I got a little distracted there. Anyway, so she's claiming to be a red-bearded pirate who's a member of the Kathleen Kennedy Club. Again, almost doesn't exist. Threatened to, okay, no, this is burn down a house. Arson it's the same thing as grievous bodily injury. And like arson is one of the highest, it should be the highest crime because it has potential for so much danger. It's like you're not just deleting one person is one thing, you're deleting a household and possibly several homes. It's like it's the most serious crime. So allegedly, if she actually made these threats, it's not a hoax, you fucking retards. The investigation led them to Teresa Lucas, 30-year-old African American. Yeah, because someone probably had a hidden camera. It's like, why did it take you a year to track her down? Who was charged with 8 counts of making terrorist threats this month. Accused of writing and placing notes in her neighbors' boxes. Described herself as a 6-foot-tall white male with long red beard who did not live in the neighborhood, they added. Well, you should have been on this. Here's the thing. This is one little brief article in the Gateway Pundit. You think the mainstream is going to cover it? No. No, it's not a hoax. It's not a hoax. It's an actual crime, allegedly, if she committed it. This is anti-white hatred. And